System CDL training school. I'm doing a pre-trip inspection on the truck this morning here at the school. So I'm approaching this truck from the front. The first thing I check for are lean or leaks. You know, lean might be a flat tire, a broken suspension, or a shift in my load. Then I'll check for coolant, oil, or power steering fluid. If I detect anything like that on this truck, I'll place this truck out of service. Okay, now this vehicle, like I said, is divided into 6 parts. You have to pre-trip all the 6 parts. The 6 parts are the top, the bottom, the front, the back, and the left and the right. So when you're pre-tripping every equipment or anything that you see on the side, you have to make sure that they are working properly. So that's what you tell the DMV for the normal operation of the vehicle. So I will start from the top. These 3 lights, they are called ID lights. And then the 2 on the edge, they are called marker light. But if you don't know that name, just say clearance light. You can call all of them as clearance lights here. You can either say they are clearance light or you say marker light. The DMV will accept that. They are amber in color. You talk about the color. They are amber in color, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And you detect no moisture or condensation. And then after that, you come to the windshield seal. See, the rubber seal around the windshield is very important. Make sure it's not leaking. It's mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. You check the windshield itself. It's mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. You check the state inspection. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And then you check your windshield wiper arm and the blade, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. You see the way I'm going? Because they time you for 30 minutes to do the outside of the truck. So you have to go fast. That's why you have to study. If you study this, the guy, he ran out of time. That's why they failed him again, the other guy. Because he was going so slow. You have to study. If you study, you go too fast, it's 30 minutes, your time. I'll check my hood mirror or my fender mirrors. The glass is clean, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check the grill, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check my headlights, 2 headlights in the front. They're clean, proper color, it's white, and I detect no moisture or condensation. And they're mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check my turn signal on both sides. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. Proper color is yellow or amber, and I detect no moisture or condensation. I'll check my front bumper, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check my license plates, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked, and they are current. After that, I open the hood. I come on both sides, and when you open the hood, you come to the passenger side. Remember the first time when I started, I was standing up there checking everything to the driver's side. So after that, I have to come to the passenger side. I go all the way to the back of the passenger side, check everything, then I go now to the driver's side on the other side, check all the engine compartment. So I'll check my coolant and my coolant cap and the level of my coolant. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. My coolant is at the proper level between maximum and minimum. I'll check the hoses, make sure they are not leaking, and then the coolant itself is not leaking. It's called a coolant reservoir. The cap is on tight, okay? And then I'll check my coolant radiator. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. The radiator is not leaking also. And then after I check this, then I'll come to my AC compressor. This is for the air conditioning. I work with the AC. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. My AC compressor is belt driven. Then you talk about the belt. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And this belt, I detect no abrasion, bumps, or cuts, and no more than 3/4 inch of play on the belt. And then underneath the belt, the AC compressor, I have my alternator. My alternator, what it does, it charges the battery on the truck. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And my alternator is belt driven. The belt, I detect no abrasion, bumps, or cuts on the belt, and no more than 3/4 inch of play on the belt. And then underneath my alternator is my water pump. How do I know that's my water pump? I follow this hose that goes to the coolant. See, that's the coolant. Connect the coolant. All what it does is take water from this coolant to cool the engine. So that's how I know. There is another hose again that goes on the top of the motor. So that's another. It has two hoses. So that's how I know that's my water pump. My water pump is belt driven. Okay, let me describe the water pump. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. Like I said, it cools the engine, and I detect no leaks. It should not be leaking. Okay, and like I said, this hose helped me to identify the water pump. And then my water pump is belt driven. The belt, I detect no abrasion, bumps, or cuts. No more than 3/4 inch of play on the belt. And then I'll check the frame of the truck. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. If I detect any illegal hole or weld on this frame, I'll place this truck out of service. And then I'll check my Windshield washer fluid mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. It is at the proper level, maximum and minimum. And I detect no leaks because it has fluid on it. Anytime you see fluid, oil, or any other stuff that's liquid, say you detect no leaks. If you don't say you detect no leaks, you don't score no points. The cap is on tight. Now I'll check my lip spring mount. These are all the suspension. The frame, the lip spring mount, the shock and the shock mount. They are all the U-bolts and the anchor plates. All these are parts of your suspension, so you have to know them. I'll check my lip spring mount on both the fronts and in the back. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And then I'll check the lip spring itself. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. If I detect 25% of crack or quarter, either 25% or you say a quarter of crack, that is 1/4 of crack on this truck, I'll place this truck out of service, okay? And then I'll check the U-bolts and my anchor plates. They're mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check my shock absorber and the shock absorber mount. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing, not bolts or screws. Okay? And then I'll come now to the brake system. So the brake, that's where you check your brake chamber clamp, the brake hoses and the ABS cord, push rod and slack adjuster, brake pad and brake drum. They're all parts of your brake system or brake components. Okay, I'll check the brake chamber and the brake chamber clamp, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no leaks. I'll check the brake hose and the ABS sensor or ABS cord, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. The ABS hose, I detect no leaks. And then I'll check my push rod and my slack adjuster, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. With the brake supply, wheel choke no more than 1 inch of play. Okay, and it has a quarter key present on it on the side here. Then I'll come to my brake drum and my brake pad. Point that in. The brake drum, there's my brake drum, and that's my brake pad. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no oil or grease build-up between my brake drum. Where the oil normally comes from is from this oil seal. There's oil inside this thing that has a seal. Sometimes when that seal gets bad, it can leak oil into the pad and the drum. And if it leaks oil in that, anytime you apply your brake will trip. So that's the reason why you need to check, make sure that brake pad and brake drum, they are clean. Because if your brake trip, what happened, the truck will not be able to stop. So that's the reason. If you don't talk about that oil or grease build-up between the brake pad and the brake drum, they will fail you. Okay? So no oil or grease between my brake pad and my brake drum. And my brake pad should not be dangerously thin. It should not be too flat, like a penny. Okay? Or some people say no less than a quarter inch of padding. And then I'll check my inner and my outer rim. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no illegal welds on them. And then I'll check all my lug nuts. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no shiny metal or rust that will indicate looseness. I'll check my oil seal. Mounted and secured to the vehicle. It's inside here. You will not see it because I'll cover it right now. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no leaks. It has a seal on it. When it goes bad, that seal can leak. So always make sure you check it. I'll check my valve stamp, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no leaks. My air pressure on this truck should be at least 100 psi. Okay, at least 100 psi. And then I'll check my inner, top, and outer tire for abrasion, bumps, or cuts. The tread depth for this tire should be no less than 4/32 of tread. This tire cannot be recapped, it cannot be regrouped, and it cannot be mismatched. Mismatch means the sizes. That is, if 295/75 R225 on this side, it has to be on the same over there, 295/75 R225. You cannot put 296 over there, you put 295 here. Like it will cause the truck to have an irregular shape, right? So that's the reason why the sizes cannot be mismatched. Okay, so now we go. I'll check my steps. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. Winter time, make sure it's free of ice or debris. And then I'll check my door handle. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check my turn signal. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. Proper color is yellow, amber, I detect no moisture or condensation. I'll check my mirror and my mirror bracket. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check the window and the rubber seal on the window. That's the window, and then that's the window rubber seal. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I open the door. 3 points of contact. The same way you enter this truck, the same way you should come down. Okay? 3 points of contact. 1, 2, and then 3 up there. Or 1, 2, and 3. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check the rubber seal on the door, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check the door hinges, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. Then I'll close the door, and then I come over here, check my fuel tank and my fuel tank cap, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. The rubber seal is not damaged. Normally, you're not expected to take it out, but just tell them about this seal. The reason why you make sure this seal is not damaged, because it can cause the back and surge movement of the fuel, you know, to leak. The fuel will leak due to the back and surge and forth, how do you call it? Movement of the fuel, yeah, the diesel. So that's why that rubber seal should not be leaking. Should not be missing. I'll check my fuel strap and the tank. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no leaks. So this one is the strap, and this one is the fuel tank. Make sure it's not leaking and the strap is not damaged. Yeah, these are my course members. You have two sets of course members. Tractor course member, you also have course members on the trailer. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And this is my exhaust. My exhaust. Come over here, point it. You see it? You have to point, because I'm going to put it on Facebook. Social media, yeah. That's my exhaust, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And how do you call it? The clamps are not missing. That's my U-joint, and that's my drive shaft. Okay? My drive shaft and my U-joint, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing, not bolt or screws. This is my catwalk, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. Winter time, make sure it's free of ice. That's my dummy coupler. When I uncouple all my glad arms, my electrical cord and everything, I have to put them here for security reasons, so that my glad arms don't get any moisture or any dirt. So I have to hang them. They call it the dummy coupler, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I'll check all my airbags, all of them, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked, and they're not leaking. This is my splash guard, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And then one thing I don't want you to forget are the hoses. See all these hoses, these are your brake hoses and your ABS sensor. Sometimes when you're standing over there, if the trailer is on top of it, it's hard for you to see it, for you to see them. So make sure you always check them, make sure they're here. Your brake hoses and your ABS sensor, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked, and I detect no leaks. Okay? So let me go to the passenger side now. Come over here. Now come to the engine compartment, okay? Now, I will check my power steering fluid reservoir, mounted and secured into the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no leaks. And then I'll check my power steering hoses, mounted and secured into the vehicle. The power steering hoses, mounted and secured into the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no leaks. Okay? And then this is my oil fill, and then that's why my oil dipstick, mounted and secured into the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no leaks. I'll take the dipstick out, wipe with a piece of cloth, put it back in to make sure that the oil is at the proper level. It has to be either a full or add. I have to add it if it's not full. Okay? And that's where I fill it. I detect no leaks. Now I come to my steering component, okay? I'll check my steering component. That's my steering rod, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. It has two U-joints. U-joints here, make sure you point it. U-joint, and there's another U-joint, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. They're properly greased. That's my power steering box, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no leaks. Okay, that's my pitchman arm, or you call it 3-piece steering linkage. Pitchman arm, drag link, and then the upper control arm. Point there, point there. Upper control arm. Yeah, you can put that way. Just point there. Break it in. Yeah. So upper control arm, drag link, pitchman arm. Pitchman arm, drag link, upper control arm. It's called a 3-piece steering linkage, and they have castle nuts on them. And 3 castle nuts. Castle nut, there's another castle nut to the tie rod down there. That one is called a tie rod. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. They have castle nuts and quarter pin on them. Okay, that's these are all my steering components. Now, the tie rod is also part of the steering component. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. Okay? And then you have the lower control arm here. Down the tie rod, it has another castle nut. The lower control arm. Point there. That's called the lower control arm. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken. It has a tie rod also. Now, I'm going to my suspension. Okay? My suspension, I have the lift spring mount in the front and the back, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And then I have my U-bolts and my anchor plates. This is the U-bolts, this is the anchor plates, mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. I'm missing all those bolts or screws. The frame is also part of the suspension, mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. I detect no illegal welds on it. And then the shock and the shock mount is also part of the suspension, mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. The lift spring mount on both sides, part of the suspension, mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken. Then the lift spring is part of the suspension, mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. If I detect 1/4 of crack or missing lift spring on this truck, I'll place this truck out of service. Now, I'll come to my power steering pump. You know, mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. My power steering pump is gear driven, or you say it's mechanical. And I detect no leaks because it has power steering fluid inside of it. Make sure the fluid is not leaking. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. Then that's my air compressor. What the air compressor does is suck air from the atmosphere and store the air into the air storage tank over there. This is the air storage tank. It sucks air from the atmosphere and store air inside these two tanks. They call the air storage tank. Point there. 1, 2, primary and secondary air storage tank. Okay. So that's the work of the air compressor. I detect no leaks on my air storage tank. I detect no corrosion and no leaks on my battery. That's my battery and my battery box. Okay, no corrosion and no leaks. They are mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken. And then my air storage tank, every day after work, I have to drain it to make sure that moisturizer air don't settle inside the tank. Okay, so that's my air compressor. So this air compressor, you see the hose, it goes to that air storage tank. So that's where it sucks air from the atmosphere, store it in that air storage tank. That's the air you use anytime you apply your brake. You're taking air from that air storage tank because it's air brake to brake the truck. Anytime you step on the brake pedal over there, it's air brake, it's not hydraulic brake. Okay, so my air compressor too is gear driven. That is, it works when the gear is running. It's mechanical. So I detect no air leaks. You have to tell them that if you don't tell the DMV you detect no leaks, they'll fail you. Okay, now I come to my brake component now. I'll check my brake chamber and my brake chamber clamp. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. I detect no leaks. I'll check the brake hoses. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. I'll check my ABS sensor. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack, no burnt wire. And then I'll check my push rod. This is called a push rod. This wire that goes inside the brake chamber. It's called a push rod. This iron. And then this one is a slack adjuster. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. With my wheel stroke and then brake apply, no more than 1 inch of play, and it has quarter key present on it. And then I'll check my brake pad and my brake drum. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, no crack. I detect no oil or grease buildup in between the brake pad and the brake drum. And then my brake pad should not be dangerously thin like a penny, or some people say no less than a quarter inch of padding. Okay, then I'll check my inner and my outer rim. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. I detect no illegal welds. I'll check all my lug nuts. Mounted and secured to the vehicle. No, my inner, yeah, no illegal welds. Check my lug nuts. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. I detect no shiny metal or any rust thread or indicate looseness. Check my hub oil seal. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. I'll check my valve stamp. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. I detect no leaks. I'll check my inner, top, and outer tire for abrasion, bumps, or cuts. The tread depth for this tire should be no less than 4/32 of tread. This one cannot be recap, regroove, or mismatch. Okay, so I've just completed checking everything here on the engine compartment. So let's go this way. I'll come back to my step. You see, I don't skip, right? Yeah. So that's the way to do. If you go there, you skip. Only people that fail, they skip it. That's why, and they cannot complain. If you complain, I have videos. The DMV are watching my videos, so they know TJ is not skipping. And I'm not telling nobody to go and skip. When you skip, they fail you. I'll check my steps. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. Winter time, make sure it's free of ice. I'll check my turn signal. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. Proper color is yellow or amber. I detect no moisture or condensation. I'll check my mirror bracket and the mirror itself. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. The mirror is clean and is properly adjusted. I'll check the window and the rubber seal on the window. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. I'll check the door handle. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. I'll check my depth tank. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. And I detect no leaks on it. This is for emission. I open my door, 3 points of contact. The same way you enter the truck, the same way you should come down to prevent how they slip and fall. 3 points of contact, 1, 2, and then 3. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. I'll check my door hinges. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, no bend, broken, or crack. And then I'll check the rubber seal on the door, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. Okay, I close the door. And then I come here to my emergency box. Even though you have the fire extinguisher here, but you check it here in the emergency box, okay? Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. Inside this emergency box, I have my 3 fire extinguisher, I have my spare fuses and my electrical, how do you call it? My spare fuses and my 10 BC fire, no, my 10 BC fire extinguisher, my 3 triangle and my spare fuses. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. I'll check my fuel tank and the tank strap. Tank and the tank cover, or the tank strap inside of it. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. I check the cap of the tank, make sure the rubber seal is not damaged. And then I'll come here and check my steps. I already checked the car work over there, but you can check it again. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. Winter time, make sure it's free of debris or ice. My fuel tank strap and the tank, make sure they are not leaking. Okay, the one is not missing, not bolts or screw. And then the tank is not missing. That's my splash guard, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. Now I come here, and this is where people fail again, because when the trailer is on top of it, they don't see this part and they skip it. I've seen a lot of students fail because of that. You should be able to know everything that's here. Okay, here I have my some people call it control arm, but me just say lift spring mount because it has a lift spring on it. Mount, yeah. The other guy is calling it control arm, but it's lift spring mount. Mounted and secured because the lift spring is mounted on it. So that's why I call it the lift spring mount. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked, not missing, not bolts or screws. I'll check the lift spring. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. If I detect 25% of crack or 1/4 of crack on this lift spring, I'll place this truck out of service. I'll check my U-bolts and my anchor plates. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. Okay? And then I'll check my shock and my shock mount. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been, some people call it shock absorber mount. Shock absorber and shock absorber mount. And it's not leaking. It has fluid inside of it, not leaking. The shock. Okay? I already check all my hoses and my ABS cord. Don't forget this. You have to check all of them. The hoses are not leaking. The ABS cord, they are not damaged or burnt. They are not burnt. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. After that, you come to your brake pad and your brake drum. You see why I say people are failing? Because when they are standing over there, the trailer is on top. They don't see these parts and they skip them, and then the DMV fail them. My brake pad and my brake drum mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. And then no oil or no oil or grease build up. I already told you where the oil come from that axle seal. So that's why you check. Make sure there is no oil or grease build up. Or you say your brake pad should not be dangerously thin like a penny, or no less than 1/4 inch of padding. Okay, so you done this, then you come to your inner, the top and the outer tire. Inner, top and outer tire, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. You check them for abrasion, bumps or cuts. The thread for this tire should be no less than 2/32 of thread. So this one is steer, it's drive tire. The front one is steer, is 4/32. This one is the drive tire, it's 2/32 of thread. Okay, and then this one can be recap or regrow. Recap means if this thread is worn out, you can give it a new thread. So the law allow that. Okay, but it cannot be mismatched. The size have to be the same. If it's 295 here, it has to be 295 on this other side. 295, so you can't mismatch them. And then you check the how do you call this? The space between the tire. Make sure there's space and free of debris. Okay, they're properly spaced. No walk in between. That's my axle seal. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. Those are my lug nuts. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. I detect no shiny metal or rusted or indicate looseness. That's my valve stamp. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. Now, when you're checking this, you're checking for all of them. Because you have 30 minutes, you don't have enough time. If you have like 1 hour, you can check all the axles. But because you just 30 minutes, you tell the DMV that I'll check this the same way I check the other tires. So you check these 2 tires here, everything on it, this component. Then you say I'll check all of them because all of them are the same. So I'll check them all because they are all the same. So now your air pressure on your tire should be at least 100 psi, okay? And then I'll check my tire pressure by a rubber mallet or tire pressure gauge. You tell them that. I'll check my airbag and the airbag mount. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. I detect no leaks. Okay, you detect no leaks. This is a sliding fifth wheel. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. That's the release handle. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not been broken or cracked. And then it has to be out when the trailer is not on it. It has to be locked when the how do you call it? When the trailer is on it has to be on the lock position. But right now the trailer is not on it. It has to be out. And then that's my pivot pin and my quarter pin on it, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And this is my locking pins, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. Make sure you remember all this. Go on the test. That's where people fail again. If you don't know this fifth wheel, you cannot describe it. They fail you. This is called a fifth wheel platform. It's called a fifth wheel platform, but it has another name. You can either say the fifth wheel platform, mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked, or you call it mounting plates and bolts. See this plate here is called a mounting plate. This one. You can call it the platform again. All this called the fifth wheel platform because this is the fifth wheel. Okay, the fifth wheel sits on it. So this top of the fifth wheel is called the skid plate. This top part of the skid plate is called the skid plate. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. It has to be properly greased. I just bought grease yesterday. I'm going to grease it. And then this is called my air piston. Mounted and secured to the air piston. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. I detect no leaks. What the air piston does, anytime you want to lower your airbag, there's a button in the dashboard. You put the button down, and then it will release some air from this airbag, and then that's how you lower your airbag. So it's called air piston. That's its job. Okay?
Air piston.
Air piston, yeah. Okay. And then you can also use it to slide these tendons, like to move this locking pin here, push them in. You use the air piston also. So that's the function. So don't forget, this is a pivot pin. It has a quarter pin on it. And then on top of here is called a skid plate. Then the trailer that sits on top of it, the under part of the trailer that sits on top of this is called an apron. A-P-R-O-N. Apron or apron, I don't know how you want to pronounce it. Okay? So the apron sits on top of the skid plate. This is called a skid plate. Mounted, and there should be no daylight when the trailer is sitting on top of it. No daylight. You have to tell the DMV that. Okay, then I'll check all these other axles. This is called a drive axle. I'll check all these other axles the same as I already checked this one. Then I'll come here, my mud flap and my mud flap bracket mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. My mud flap has sufficient clearance from the ground. And then I'll check all my multifunctional lights. The white one is the reverse light. Okay, the two red ones, they are called the brake lights. Okay, or you can use them for turn signal also. They are mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. Proper color is red and white, and I detect no moisture or condensation. Then this is my torque rod, or some people call it torsion bar, but it's really the torque rod. The actual name is called the torque rod. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent. It's called the torque rod or stabilizer. What this does is anytime you're going around curves or turns, it helps to stabilize the truck to prevent a rollover. But don't capitalize on this. You have to slow down anytime you're entering a curve or turn. If you don't slow down, and that truck is loaded because you have a high center of gravity when the trailer is attached to it, it can cause the trailer to roll over. So that's why they say slow down before you enter the curve, and then slow down before you go down the mountain. You have to downshift to lower gear. So this one is called, you have two of them, one in the back, there's another one here in the front. They are called the torque rod. So this one is called torque rod. But if you call it torsion bar, the DMV might give you the point. It's called a torsion or stabilizer. It's called a stabilizer. It stabilizes the truck and the trailer when you're going on curve and turn, so that the trailer don't tip over. Okay. So that's his job. So it's a safety stuff. Now I'll come here. I'll check this one is called, I think the button. This truck has a button inside, so that's why this one is locked right now. This one is called the locking jaw. It's like a jaw. It's supposed to be in the open position when the trailer is not attached. But I think somebody turned it. It has a button that you can use in there to lock it and unlock it. So the button is on. That's why it's locked right now. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. And then inside here, that's where the kingpin. The kingpin is attached to the trailer. Okay. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, not bent, broken, or cracked. So the kingpin always, you understand? The locking jaw is always around the kingpin shank. The locking jaw is always around the kingpin shank. Okay. Mounted and secured to the vehicle, and they are properly greased. Okay. So, do you guys have any question? No question? You have any question?
No, not really.
Okay, good. So, remember, you check one axle, and then you say for all of them. When you go back to the trailer tendon, you do the same thing. You check one axle, one tire, the two tires on the back of the trailer, then you say you check them all the same. Okay? So that's how you do, because you don't have time. They only give you 30 minutes. So now, what we just did, this is the section A of the pre-trip. The pre-trip is divided into 3 sections. You have the section A. what we just did just now, everything on this video is called a section A. Section B is from this part. You check the coupling, the trailer, you check the glad hands and everything. Okay, you check the glad hand. Then you go. In fact, that reminds me, I forgot to check the glad hand. This one is called the emergency, the red glad hand. It's called the emergency airlines. It has a rubber seal on it. Make sure the seal is not damaged. The blue one is called the service airline. And then
blue.
Look at it. You can see the blue. You can see it. Red, blue. You can see it. Just look at the color. The color them. Just look at them clearly. Maybe I need to buy paint and paint them again. You have the red one is the emergency airline. The blue one is the service. And then I have the. I'll go buy paint. Don't worry. I'll paint them back. The green one is called the electrical cord. Then the red one is called the emergency airlines, and then the blue one is called the service airlines. You check them, make sure these are called the glad hand. They look like a handshake. This one is called the glad hand. Make sure it's not leaking any air when they're connected to the trailer, and then make sure the rubber seal is not damaged. Okay. So yeah, since you guys say you don't have no question, I'll stop here for now. My name is TJ. This is the TJ and Friends Smith System CDL Training School. We just completed a comprehensive pre-trip on the tractor. We're going to do the trailer over there. So like I said, section B is from the back of the trailer to the side of the trailer, and then they will tell you about the motor. You open the motor on this side, you check it, and then sometimes they do any random. They will tell you to check any other thing by random. But it's just the reverse of section A. Okay? And then section C is from the trailer, you check the coupling. Every section they give you, don't forget, don't skip the coupling. If you skip the coupling, if you skip the brakes, if you skip the suspension, you're going to fail. So remember, you have to check the brakes, the suspension, the coupling, and then you check everything here, the glad hands, everything. You check the trailer. I think the reason why this other guy failed the other day is skip. I told you, if you go there, you skip, you're not thorough, they fail you. Because the more parts you name, the more points you get to pass the test. But if you skip the part, then they fail you. They're not going to. So if you know the thing, go there, don't skip. You pass. Okay, I'll stop here for now.